Just as the world we live in has laws that rule and organize us, such as the laws of physics, civil laws, etc., so the cosmos that we are part of is also ruled by laws. These are cosmic, immutable laws, which, even if we don't know about them, inevitably influence our existence. And one of these universal laws is the law of three, the law of Tria Masi Kamno. This great universal law rules everything that exists. It is this law that gives origin to all of creation. And the number 3, according to the Hebraic Kabbalah, is the number that creates. From the simplest organisms that live in the dust of the earth, to the huge masses of the worlds that move in their orbits, from the infinitely tiny to the infinitely large. That's to say that these three forces are necessary for any creation: the positive, the negative, and the neutral. This also equates to the masculine, the feminine, and the conciliatory aspects respectively. Furthermore, these three forces are expressed as light, heat, and sound, essential elements for life to develop in the world. That's why we affirm that all creation is a crystallization of these three principles that make up the divine triad, or in Indian terms, the Trimurti. How does the law of three work? Let's look at some examples. The atom, which is the smallest particle which matter divides into, is formed by a positive aspect, or proton, a negative aspect, or electron, and a neutral aspect, or neutron. For the creation of a human being, the positive force is needed, a man, the negative force, a woman, and in consequence a child is born, who is the equivalent of the conciliatory aspect. In nature, when a predator goes for its prey, the hunter is the positive aspect, the prey is the negative aspect, and there is a third force that produces the action. Other related laws intervene here, such as the law of common cosmic trogo-auto-egocratic, which is the law of mutual nourishment. With these few examples, we can see that if the universal laws stopped working, the law of three, for example, the entire universe would be paralyzed, and there would be no creations, transformations, or movement. The law of three in mystical terms. Speaking in mystical or religious terminology, these three aspects are related to the divine triad, present in all cultures: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit for Christianity, Osiris, Isis, and Horus in the Egyptian culture, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva in Hindu culture. And so in every culture that has ever existed on our planet, this representation has been there because these are primordial cosmic forces. This immortal triad is one of the great mysteries of the cosmogenesis of all cultures. It emerges from the chaos, or the nothing, from what is beyond creation, from the unmanifested, that from which all creation unfolds, from the abstract space that is inaccessible to all intellectual understanding. Universal laws and spiritual creations. As above, so below. As it is inside, it is outside. That is, in the same way that a physical birth occurs, spiritual birth also occurs, through the three primary forces. That's why all the sacred texts refer to these three forces, since the spiritual life of a person is also born and develops from them, from a man or a woman who sets out to produce that creation within themselves. Why is it important to know the universal laws, like the law of three? As we have seen, there are universal laws, well known to the ancient cultures but little known in our times. This is because, on the one hand, the human species as a whole has become increasingly separated from the bosom of Mother Nature, thus falling into a mechanical way of being, and intellectualism where mysticism and intuition have been lost, those natural, internal faculties that allow us to access all that knowledge. On the other hand, because man has fallen into the error of believing himself to be separate from the universe, and therefore has fallen into the ignorance of thinking that he can establish laws that do not correspond to the laws that rule the universe. But despite all the opinions, concepts, and reasoning that the intellect can give, these laws will continue to exist and govern creation and each one of us. Therefore, we should start to know them and understand their deep significance. In this way, we can wisely guide the ship of our existence, and as a result, find true success in our lives. Go forward, triumph is within your reach.